What's up, everybody? I'm Sam from Single, and I'm super excited today to have Bryce Savoy here from Oakland. He's dropping a new album using Single on top of Shopify. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff, so I'm ready to unpack it. But before we go into that, Bryce, do you want to give a quick intro, maybe your backstory? I'll leave it to you.
Yes, yes. What's up, everybody tuning in worldwide? My name is Bryce Savoy, also known as the Neighborhood Diamond. I am an independent artist from Oakland, California, currently living in Los Angeles, and I've been doing this music thing for 20 years now. So I'm happy to be in this position, happy to partner with Single for my next release, Intelligent Town Music Volume 1. I'm excited to share with you guys.
Yeah, and I actually have you the day before your release. Like tomorrow, you've got a lot of new music coming out.
Yeah,
Um, Tell me a bit about it. I know you're doing some early access stuff, and you're not just like putting stuff out there doing the usual Spotify drop. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, walk us through what you're doing, and then maybe let's like talk about why.
Yeah, so for this one, I'm calling this one. We say direct, fan, direct to consumer. I like to say direct to community. So community is very important to me. So this is my first official direct to community release. I am selling it. Obviously, it's directed to my website for $5.10, and I'm only selling 51 digital downloads. These numbers, these optics are more so an ode to my hometown, Oakland. The main area code is 510, and so I wanted to find another way to tie in my city. And so I'll be doing that as well as I'll have some exclusive merch that'll come with some limited edition items, a custom air freshener, as well as a custom postcard. And really, it's all in an attempt to continue to like extend the lifespan of the project, and it's really heavily influenced by car culture, which has influenced and made my genre and my sound, which I do call intelligent town music. So it's like a full circle thing, tying everything into one, and so I'm very excited about it.
I love that. I feel like you're doing so many things just in that I feel like other artists could learn from.
Yeah,
I feel like leaning into your story is a really cool aspect, and like just being able to have air fresheners tie back to the story and who you're from. And I feel like so much of being an artist today is like the storytelling piece. So it's
yeah,
awesome to see how you're able to like, yeah, I put out music, but it's like this is about me, and people could connect to that in a deeper way. Are you already kind of finding that? I know, is it, am I right that as of yesterday the digital downloads went early access on your site?
yeah. As of yesterday, I gave access to only the people who subscribe to my mailing list. That's something that I've been building up prior to this release, and so I wanted to just find a way to again directly communicate with my community and engage with them, and also give people early access as a thank you for signing up and really just being a active supporter. And so I think all of that ties everything together. But I think for me, it's just really all about having as much control, independence, autonomy, and agency over my career. And I'm at the point now where I'm fully stepping into that in a way that I haven't had before. I
Hmm.
haven't had before, I would say, at least pre-COVID.
I think you're also in a great place too, because I mean I'm on calls all week with artists and artist teams, and I actually even had a call yesterday with somebody with like upwards of 30 million subscribers across various platforms. They have no fan data, no emails to start with. And this is a really interesting conversation here because um, you're like at this pivotal moment of putting out a new album, going direct to community, and you even just had that mailing list to get in touch with them apart from a platform, and then
Yeah,
also tell them thank you. Here's a little
yeah.
something. So I think that's really, really cool. How's that been going so far with the community?
I think it's been great. It's been a learning experience, because with that is like also trying to find ways again within social media, which is like a rented audience, if you will, and trying to find ways to engage or get some reach within that ecosystem, but being able to draw people back to
Yeah.
me. And I think it's been I wouldn't even say it's been challenging. I think it's just all of this is like a learning curve for everybody,
Hmm.
right? It's conditioning consumers to understand why that's even important. Like, why is it even
I
important for me to
agree.
give you my email? And I think over time I'm getting better and better with being able to like communicate and articulate that. And so I'm finding that people are doing it, on their own, which I really like. People are kind of just seeing it and see the value in it and say, you know what, let me sign up. I support Bryce. And so I'm interested in hearing and seeing and reading whatever he sends to me. So it's been a learning process.
You're touching on so many interesting points today because we're so conditioned to put everything out there all at once on every platform.
Yeah,
And I don't think going direct to what you're calling direct to community
yeah,
really challenges that. You're just working a new muscle of saying, I could still be on those platforms, but if I ever want to take a break, I still have like the support from my community and I could reach them directly. And I mean, if you look at what's happening to artists today that are always having to join a new platform and just to stay relevant and try to get
yeah,
something to go viral, you also see artists like burn out. Like some people are like, I actually took a step back from TikTok this year and I'm coming back now, but I do feel like unfortunately as artists part of the maybe transition from those platforms and that narrative is like less of saying go buy something all the time, but maybe a bit more of just being honest with them. And I feel like that's something that really shines through your current project right now. It's like, do I have your direct support? I'm sharing stuff early with you, and we're going to keep this conversation going. So it's showing them the value of going direct to
yeah.
fan is so critical and kind of shaping fan behavior in that way.
Yeah, and that's everything, right? And that's the hard part, but that's something that I'm up for the challenge, and I feel like it's the perfect time to do it. I personally, as an artist, and just where we at in the world, I'm experiencing, seeing in real time a shift in everything. Like people are, like you said, social media burnout is real. People, not even artists and creatives are having to take social media hiatuses and breaks, and so I think it's all in an attempt to just just put out more empowering and positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's a direct correlation to that. Is like I want to be able to just have control and access. I feel like that. I believe that as an artist, I should have full autonomy over how I produce my music, how I distribute it, how I
Mm-hmm.
monetize off of it. And so if I'm saying that, then I have to also have ownership of my data, because if I don't own it, somebody else will, and that's just not something that sits well with me anymore. And it's something I didn't even think about, honestly, until this year. I just been in a reimagining and a restructuring of everything that I'm doing, and I think this is one of the first steps. Is like, okay, I could choose to stay on that hamster wheel and continue to play that game and just, throw a shot in the dark, hoping that it lands well, hoping that it even on
Mm-hmm.
my social media, Instagram, it reaches more than 10% of my followers. These are all hoping and wishing. Or I could just really double down, ask for what I need, have people who really believe in what I'm doing support me, and be able
Yeah,
to, again, directly communicate and talk to them and engage with them, and really see the fruits of my labor after doing it for so long. So that's just where I'm
totally.
at. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah, I agree. And you're at a point now where you have like laid these like building blocks and you've actually
Yeah.
started that change, but I imagine for maybe some artists or even artist teams that are thinking about making this shift because we're so used to just doing things that we do and we're at a point where we're like, okay, Spotify streams don't really translate into revenue and TikTok followers or Instagram followers don't necessarily translate into real fans.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of options and there's also a lot of platforms vying for your super fans as Bryce,
Yeah.
which is also a
Yeah.
really interesting um, position. So like what advice do you maybe give artists that are just starting out? Like how do you turn the tables and how do you also think about choosing the right platforms? Because again, there are so many new superfan apps. Um, kind of claiming to be superfan, but again, if it's not your brand and it's not your data, it's just not direct to consumer, it's not direct to community, it's not yours. It's still rented, you know?
And that's a great question. Also a tough one, man, because I really try to be intentional, or really just be honest and transparent about that. So I would say for me, I think the first step with any of this, any artist that's coming up and looking to make a name for themselves in this industry, I think you have to, and it takes time, but I think you have to be clear about what path you want to take. Right? There's a
Yeah.
couple different paths. If you want to take the quote unquote conventional mainstream route, that's a direct way that you have to operate and move. If you want to do something where I believe is just independent artistry, I'm not so pressed and hard pressed. But I'm older now too, so that's another thing. I have enough wisdom and maturity to see that, stardom and fame, while it's cool, That's not,
Mm,
what aligns with me. What aligns more with me is being able to create the music that I love, when and how I want to, being able to put it out, and just having as much control over that. Now for somebody that may not be the best route,
yeah.
and so I would say just first step is just kind of figuring out and really being honest with yourself about what route you want to take. And once you kind of figured out that route, there's a lot of things that you can do based
Yeah.
on that. But it's just a journey of self discovery for me. And so I got to this point where I've done it. I tried to, be on the hamster wheel and play the streaming game, the playlist game, playlisting game, and I saw some amount of success. What some people would say success in that, but overall, like you said, I didn't feel like people who heard my song like tapped into me as an artist, right? I was just on another person on the playlist. So I just feel like I put too much time and energy and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into this to not be able to kind of control it the way I see fit and really have independence. So
Yeah.
I would just say, yeah, start there, man, and from there you'll be surprised if you're really passionate about this. If this is really something that you really want to do, these things will find you. Last thing I'll say with single, like finding you guys, right? I learned even in some of the stuff that I've done. Like I said years ago, I did like I've played with like direct to community. I've done it in like small ways, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I learned in that process is that you can only go so far with you need technology. You need technology to be able to do some of these things that you want to do, right? And so um I researched for months, and I came across you guys' platform through a gentleman by the name of Rob. I think his name Rob Abelo. Have you heard
Yep.
him before? Maybe
Yeah.
saying his last name
Send
wrong,
this
but
to him after. Yeah.
yeah, send this to him because I subscribed to his newsletter, and he was sharing different platforms that allow you to do what I was trying to do. And I looked and I found you guys, and then also being that I have a Shopify store, I saw that you have a direct integration with Shopify. I'm like, oh, this is it. And so that finding that technology allowed me to say, okay, this is something that I can do. There's technology there to help
Yeah.
me do it, and from there, the rest is history. So I'm just appreciative for this journey and for you guys too.
Yeah, and I will send this to Rob. So thank you, Rob, for
Thank you,
knowing
Rob, for
me.
sure.
Shoot it over. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, sometimes you just have to like learn about the right platform, and I definitely think for artists, it's 100% a no brainer to use single. And obviously, I'm biased. I work here, but I mean, if you have your store, it is your brand, and single just like plugs in, so you don't have to add all these other toolings that are off platform that still aren't in the place that is usually your site that's just with you
Yeah,
forever. So
yeah,
we're obviously super mission driven by that and just helping artists like you. And I mean, now you're putting out tomorrow, like the song is released, the album's released publicly, and some
yeah,
of your top fans already have access to it, just supporting you directly. So I love that. And I know that, like, even though it was a sale and a way to support directly, going back to your ethos, it's just building on that and locking in that fan loyalty that will continually compound as you
yep,
keep kind of exercising this muscle and seeing like what do you actually want to keep doing as an artist, because
yeah,
there's a lot and you have to prioritize because you can't do it all. So if you could get smart about like, how do you want to diversify your revenue and how do you want to like earn as an artist and how does that come back from like this central place of truth that is you.
yeah.
um, and I think you're on that path, so that's pretty badass.
No, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And I would say too for anybody watching, like I I see the value in streaming, right? I see the value in streaming services. I think when you talk about convenience, when you talk about accessibility, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think there's any competition in that, arena.
Hmm.
However, it's not the end all be all. So I am not an artist that's going to no longer just rely on that. I spend hundreds
Yeah.
of dollars, thousands of dollars into each project. I put it out on the platform. It may stream well for that week, and then from there, it's like, okay, you hear nothing and see nothing from it, and so that just doesn't sit right with me anymore. And so I feel like if you're an artist that's watching this and you feel, it's conflicting, right? Because it's a leap of faith that has no guarantees, but I'm gonna always feel better knowing that I took the chance as opposed to not, and just
Yeah.
doing what's convenient and comfortable. That's never been me, and so this is an attempt to change that narrative, and I'm excited, man, because there's so many different possibilities with this approach, and specifically working with a platform like you all. there's so many different ways I can take
Yeah.
full advantage of it and I feel better. I just feel lighter doing it that
That's
way. So I'm
awesome.
thankful.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. No, I love that. And I agree. Like, it's really more than anything like finding the right mix for you. And to say streaming and social doesn't have a role in this, like, we would be ignoring
Yeah,
the fact that, like, you get visibility there, you get traction. But, like, for the moments that you do go viral, like, on whether it's TikTok, do you have a catalog that they could listen to? Or if it's,
yeah,
they're on Instagram and they made it to your page, do they have a site that they could either buy something or sign up for their mailing list so that you could then get, these one-to-one conversations or inside peeks into the artist journey, which is what you're doing. Um, so yeah, it's not it, and sometimes like the ratio of those things changes based on like
yeah,
where you're at, your artist
yeah, yeah,
stage, and where you could what you could prioritize. But yeah, I think artists are definitely realizing that more and more, which is great. Um, and like, going viral on any platform, it's also like a muscle that was worked on. So I think
yeah,
um, building in this space is like a long term value thing. Um, so yeah, to any artist on my side, I would just say like experiment like you do when you're on Instagram, right? But
yes,
like just because I don't want to say doesn't stick at first. Just like figure out what's authentic because there is a maybe more transactional view when it comes to direct to consumer in that capacity when it at least when it's sales, but it doesn't
yeah.
have to be. And I feel like the way that you're putting yourself out there is so reflective of that. And I'll kind of pause there. And if you have any last words, I'll give you that. But otherwise, I'll probably leave it at that.
Um, yeah, last words, Intelligent Town Music Volume 1, out this
Yes.
Friday, October 18th. If you, directly support my independence and artistic independence, I look forward to your support. But if not, there's still ways you can passively support as well, and there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that as well. So I'm just thankful once again. Shout out Stingle, Sam, the entire team for just building such a dope and awesome platform. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep shining.
Let's do it. And I'm going to link to all your stuff, your site, your music, so that people could give you a follow and hopefully support you as well directly through your site. So thank
There
you,
we go.
Bryce. I appreciate you hopping on. Let's
Thank
go
you. Appreciate
release
you
day
guys.
tomorrow.
We worldwide.
Let's go. All right. Bye, everybody.